Hello everyone, and today we're back for another Loomian Legacy PvP video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the Problematic Loomians from Ranked Season 3. And honestly, this Ranked Season is a very interesting season to talk about because personally, I think it's better than Season 0 and Season 1, but not as good as Season 2. It pretty much is the same metagame from Season 2, just with it adding a couple new Loomians, and it's also a lot slower. But there have been a lot of buffs that have made a couple Loomians too strong. So let's head right into them. The first Loomian I'm going to be talking about in this video is Crackalola, the pure fire type. Now, base Crackalola is the problem here, because once it actually soul bursts, it's actually alright. It's mainly because of one of base Crackalola's abilities, which is Scorching Skin. Now, I do know that this is a combustible Crackalola. I don't have a Scorching Skin variant, but I do have a Scorching Skin Loomian, so here it is. It's a Loomian whose contacts come into direct contact. This may have a chance to leave them with a burn. It's 30%. Now, if a melee attacker gets burned, it's really bad because it can cut their melee attacks in half, meaning that even super effective hits deal neutral damage and not super effective damage anymore, pretty much invalidating that melee attacker for the rest of the game. And Crackalola can just switch in onto a contact move, and then that 30% chance gets fished, effectively either trapping your melee attacker in jail, or they have to roll the dice and hope they don't get Scorching Skin burned. And this sucks for a Loomian like Crackalola because it has really good bulk. 95 health, 95 melee defense, and 99 range defense. Now, why is Scorching Skin overpowered on Crackalola and not on other Loomians? Because other Loomians have this ability. Forge is the big one. With Forge, it has a quad weakness to Earth, and Earthquake is a non-contact move. Not to mention that it's a lot weaker on the range side, and Forge doesn't have a move to heal it. Crackalola does not have that issue. It has a move to heal and rejuvenate, and it has really good bulk on both sides, meaning that it really can't die. It will always take at least one hit, even super effectively, and that's what makes Crackalola very dangerous. And the more it stays alive, the more chances it has to fish the Scorching Skin burn. It doesn't even need Scorching Skin to be good either. Like, it's just a bonus. It's kind of like Celesting and Mystic Tone, how Celesting is fundamentally already a good Loomian, but the Mystic Tone was just a bonus. It's the same thing here with Crackalola. It even has Raging Flame, meaning that even if you don't get the Scorching Skin burn, you can just Raging Flame the melee attacker anyway, making Crackalola very reliable. Now, what would I do to nerf Crackalola? And it's pretty simple. Just replace its Scorching Skin ability with a different ability. I would probably just give it Applied Frustration, so if you get hit by an Ancient Roar or a Baffle, you can get +2 ranged attack, and then you could Soul Burst into your Soul Burst form and destroy Loomians with a bulky monster. That would be the ability I would replace over Scorching Skin, because now you don't have to roll the dice with your melee attackers and potentially get burned. Not to mention, this won't completely kill Crackalola's viability, because it still has Raging Flame as a move. And the reason why Raging Flame isn't the problem here is because you have counterplay. You just switch into a ranged attacker to take the burn instead of the melee. So, yeah, that's what I need to do. That's why I think Crackalola should be nerfed. Just getting rid of Scorching Skin. That's the only thing I would do, and Crackalola would be fine. Now, the second Loomian I'm going to be talking about is Wakiwaki. We are in Wakiwaki's world, and we are all living in it, ladies and gentlemen. Wakiwaki is finally good in Loomian Legacy PvP. Maybe even a little too good, and it's because of a lot of things. It has the Compliant ability, which makes it so this Loomian can't be provoked. Yes, a Loomian that is very provoke bait can't be provoked because of the Compliant ability. Now, yes, I do know there's Devious Provoke, like Imperior, but Imperior isn't common right now, and yeah. Devious Provoke Loomians are not that good right now. Now, the thing that makes Wakiwaki very unique is that it's always had the fundamentals to be a good Loomian. I mean, it's always had a role, being a support Loomian. The reason why Wakiwaki has always been considered the worst Loomian in the game, it's because the support role is not worth a team slot on your team. It's not that Wakiwaki couldn't fill a role, it's just the role was useless until it got Herbal Remedy, which is basically rejuvenate, but you can pass it to a teammate, and you can cause these Herbal Remedy chains, meaning you can heal a bunch of teammates. You can even heal yourself after you click a dodge, meaning that you can heal yourself, you can heal teammates, and it only uses 70 energy, which is actually less than Rejuvenate. It also has other moves in Mudslide to remove hazards, poison to poison foes, sap plant to sap plant stall foes, dodge, like I said, to dodge attacks, and wonder herb to heal status conditions, as this is the best wonder herb Loomian in the game. And this works very well with teams that use insulated Cinemars and Crackalola, because Crackalola birds the Loomians, and Cinemars can soak range hits, meaning Wakiwaki actually synergizes very well with the meta. Now, how would I nerf Wakiwaki? There's a couple things I would do to nerf Wakiwaki to make it so it's not too strong, because right now, it's just way too bulky. The only way you can actually get through it is super effective hits. And it does have some flaws. I mean, it could swap into icicle traps, but the problem is that it could either remove them and then Herbal Remedy the HP back. It just heals too much HP. So what I would do is a couple things. One, I remove Compliant. You need to have at least a weakness for Wakiwaki. Wakiwaki needs to have a weakness, aka it being provoked. So what would I replace Compliant with? I would replace it with Send-Off. That would actually fit with Wakiwaki's role, and then once it gets KO'd, it could leave a gift for the next Loomian coming in, meaning it can actually still pull out his role as a support Loomian even after it's fainted. And the second thing I would do is make Herbal Remedy cost way more energy. Right now, it has an energy cost of 70. I would make it to 100, meaning that if you're doing Herbal Remedy chains to yourself, it will cost 130 energy instead of 100 energy, which I think is needed because Herbal Remedy is a very powerful move, and it needs to use more energy because of the ability to pass Rejuvenates onto Loomians that shouldn't heal. So yeah, that's what I think. Wakiwaki is pretty good, but I think if these nerfs happen this season, it will still be very good without it being busted. Now, the next Loomian doesn't need any introductions. Kosmir Unleashed, aka Kosmir Nuke. Yeah, the only thing this Loomian has is 134 melee attack, and an ability that increases its ancient type moves by 25% that stacks on top of its stab increase, and a 125 power move. This Loomian pretty much one-shots any Loomian for neutral damage. I'm serious, this Loomian hits that hard. And it also has infinite coverage. Judgment is a stronger mind type move that has a chance to flinch, which is very nice. Fire Slam can hit metal types like Tyrex and Lachette, and Slapdown can hit Loomians like Luminami and Soulburst Celestine, making Kosmir Unleashed one of the hardest Loomians to switch into, especially when it's at full energy. Now, I do understand that there is a little bit of counterplay to this. You can just switch into a Outburst resist once, and then its Outburst will not be able to deal as much damage for the rest of the game. But you could save Kosmir Unleashed for a long time, and then rely on the passive energy regen to get its energy back up to full. Meaning that it could get 2 or 3 full power outbursts a game. Especially in a meta that's a lot slower. Maybe in the past, in a more offensive meta, games are a lot quicker, so Kosmir can only get that outburst once. But in this meta, Kosmir could potentially get 2 or 3 of those full powered outbursts a game. Not to mention its insane coverage move in Judgment, Fire Slam, and Slapdown to hit the Loomians that Outburst can't hit. Now, what would I do to nerf Kosmir Unleashed? Honestly, I do not know how to nerf this Loomian. Maybe you could remove Outburst and give it... But even Meteor Smash is good as well. It might not be able to get the OHKOs like Outburst, but it's a lot more consistent. Maybe make it so it loses either Fire Slam or Slapdown. Probably Slapdown so it loses the ability to lose items while it can still hit Lachette. Honestly, anything that hits Lachette is a plus, so we're not getting rid of Fire Slam. We're getting rid of Slapdown here. And that's still, there are a lot more counterplay to it, so Loomians like Celestine, Valkyrie, and Luminami are still able to live hits from this beast a lot better. And yeah, Kosmir Unleashed, nothing else to say here. I'm letting this footage speak for itself, because this should not be happening for a Loomian. But I think getting rid of Slapdown or either Fire Slam or maybe even Outburst could be enough to make Kosmir good, but not busted. Now, a lot of people might be shocked for the 4th Loomian on this list, and it's going to be Dusket. Now, did I overhype the Haste and Dusket set? Yes. Haste and Dusket is good, but not busted broken. But there is another Dusket set that is a little bit more problematic. It's the Status Inflicting set. Now, I do have Stun. I don't have Raging Flame and Bitter Cold on this, but this Loomian can learn both Raging Flame and Bitter Cold. And this is for a Loomian that has a very fast speed stat of 109, meaning it could just absolute spread status conditions for the rest of the team. That doesn't even mention it actually has very good range both, meaning it can't really die on the range side. You can run either just Bitter Cold just Raging Flame, and you can just stun attackers. Dusket is very good on defensive-oriented teams with Wakiwaki, because Wakiwaki can send chains with Horrible Remedy, while Dusket can just status condition everything without any flaws. Not to mention, the move Oppress makes it so it's buffed while any Loomian is status. And while there is more counterplay to Dusket using Raging Flame and Bitter Cold compared to Scorching Skin on Crackalola, it's still, Wonder Herb Loomians are not that common in this meta, and the only way to get rid of status is using your own Wakiwaki, or a Soulburst Celestine who is potentially weak to a Bitter Cold. So, there's not that much counterplay for the status inflicting Dusket. That doesn't even mention the fact that Dusket can still just add Hasten on top of its moveset, so they can run moves like Oppress, Dark Surge, Hasten, and then run one of those other moves, either Raging Flame, Bitter Cold, or Stun. I've even seen some Duskets run Poison as well, to actually Poison stall some certain Loomians. And the Toxic types that can switch into Poison die to Psychoblast. Now, how would I nerf Dusket? I don't think Hasten's the problem yet. I want to test Hasten Dusket a little bit more. I think the problem is specifically Raging Flame and Bitter Cold. I think it's too strong to have both of those moves. It needs to lose both Raging Flame and Bitter Cold. I'm fine with it keeping Stun and Poison, but Raging Flame and Bitter Cold absolutely destroying melee and range attackers, I think is too much for this meta. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just over-exaggerating right now, but I think those are the problems that makes Dusket very problematic. That doesn't even mention the potential chance of it hastening and winning the game. So yeah, that's what I would do with Dusket. The next problematic Loomian is Gastro. Now, a lot of people might be shocked that I'm talking about Gastro, and it's mainly because Gastro has always had one Achilles heel. It's low melee defense. It has a pathetic melee defense stat of only 40. But when you Soul Burst into its Soul Burst form, it actually has a decent melee defense at 60. And while that doesn't sound good, when you combine that with its 140 base HP, it actually makes it relatively bulky on the melee side. If you don't drop its melee defense, it can actually live neutral melee hits. But that's not the problem. The problem is Tamp. This increases Gastro's melee and range defense. Now I know what you're thinking. How is increasing your defense stat problematic? Because that Loomian is not going to be able to hit harder. Well, unfortunately for you, Gastro has a move called Stratagem, which uses its really high range defense as its attack stat, meaning that Tamp doesn't just increase its defenses, but it also boosts the damage of Stratagem, making Gastro hit very hard. Not to mention that its insulated ability and its Soul Burst form makes it so it's only normally weak to ice and neutral to fire, giving Soul Burst Gastro a lot better defensive typing compared to its regular form. And a lot of Soul Burst Gastro players have adjusted to the meta, and they have ran Robust Clever 200 in its melee defense, so it can live melee hits a lot better, meaning that after a Tamp, they can pretty much live any hit in the entire game. Soul Burst Gastro with Tamp is the most boring Loomian in the entire game. And the only way you can beat a Soul Burst Gastro is either Provoke, which Provoke is common, but not that common right now. Not to mention, you could still get hit by Stratagem, or Driving's forcing it out. And that is it. Those are the only two ways to objectively stop a Soul Burst Gastro sweep with Tamp. That's why Soul Burst Gastro with Tamp is very problematic. And this Loomian would not be problematic if you just get rid of the funny Tamp move. If you get rid of Tamp and then have something like, I don't know, Peace of Mind instead, yes, it can increase its range defense still, but it will still have that weakness on the melee side where it could still get hit, which is needed. You can't have Loomians that are unstoppable to beat. You need to have Loomians that have brutal weaknesses, because that's the only way you make a balanced game. Every Loomian needs to have a weakness, but after a Tamp, Soul Burst Gastro just simply doesn't have any. And that's why Soul Burst Gastro is a problematic Loomian, and it needs to lose Tamp. But after it loses Tamp, I think it will be just fine. And the final Loomian we're going to be talking about for this video is Danuki. Danuki is just like Wakiwaki, that it's a support Loomian. But it does its support role a lot differently compared to Wakiwaki. And it's not usually on every team. It's only on hyper-specific teams. There are two roles it can use. It could be a defensive Handy Rejuvenate staller, or a suicide lead Banana Split lead. The thing that makes Danuki really horrible to beat is the fact that it has a high speed stat and really good bulk. This is a support Loomian with really good bulk and handy, meaning that this Loomian usually never dies in one hit. You don't even have to run a clutch plushie on this thing, because this thing can usually just live any hit in the game anyway. It could handy provoke you, meaning you can't provoke it back, and then you could either set up a screens with far enchantment or near enchantment, and then sacrifice yourself and set up a banana split for the rest of the team. It even has handy rejuvenate, meaning it just never dies. Handy Anemor, making melee attackers just simply not beat you. Handy provoke, like I said earlier, to provoke any other Loomian before you have a chance to move. And of course, handy emulate, meaning you can emulate into a setup sweeper and then just sweep them in return. It's even better on a Loomian like Danuki compared to Boonary, because Danuki has a really high health and energy stat, while Boonary only has a health stat of 64. So yeah, Danuki is a very annoying and a very problematic Loomian. Now, how would I nerf Danuki? Now, Danuki is already planned on getting nerfed. It's already planned on losing Banana Split. I don't think it should just lose Banana Split. It should also lose Rejuvenate. I'm sorry. Handy Rejuvenate just should never be a thing. It already has other support moves to begin with. It already has a Nemwar. It already has Provoke. It even has other moves as well, like Tricky Tactics, Phantom Slash, Sharpen, Swat, has Bulk Up, Emulate, Hoodwink, which can have a chance to daze. It has so many other moves it can utilize with Handy. Like, actively adding Rejuvenate on it pretty much makes it outclass both Imperior and Dimorg. And that's not what should happen for a Loomian. So, yep, it should lose Banana Split, and it should lose Rejuvenate. Those would be the nerfs I would do on the funny Danuki guy. Now that we've finally talked about the truly problematic Loomians from Season 3, I do want to talk about some 5 other Loomians that I want to watch for the rest of the season. Ronsador, it's already going to get nerfed into Season 4 because this Loomian hits very hard. Even though it has 99 range attack, when you combine that with the Do or Die ability and specialty goggles, this Loomian hits very hard. It's already planned on losing Draco Beam, but I do want to watch it for the rest of Season 3 and see what it can do. The next Loomian I want to talk about is Zulong. Yeah, just like with Ronsador, Zulong is getting nerfed in Season 4 as it's going to finally lose Fire Breath. Personally, I don't think it deserves it as much, but hey, Jamie can do whatever he wants with this Loomian, and honestly, I don't think it's going to fall too much after losing Fire Breath. Now, as much as I want Lishent to be nerfed, it's not fundamentally broken. It's annoying, but it's not fundamentally broken. It's a Loomian I still want to watch, because it's still one of the most used Loomians in the game, and I hate it. I despise this tree, but there's nothing fundamentally broken about it. But I want to watch it. If I can't watch it, it will watch me. Anyway, Dorgo. We gotta watch this Loomian. Like, I know this Loomian always goes under everyone's radar, but Anomaly Draco Beam for a Loomian with 116 speed is just something that probably should never happen. Especially if you want to actually play a skilled Loomian Legacy game. Especially if this is a specialty boots variant, it outspeeds everything. So, yeah, Anomaly Draco Beam needs to be watched on Dorgo. And the final Loomian I want to watch is Thalman. Thalman has Priority Cycle Blast, 118 ranged attack, and Specialty Goggles. All of those multipliers add up. Not to mention that it's insane coverage. It makes it so it can pretty much predict any Loomian coming in. If it predicts Tyrex, it clicks Life Drain. If it predicts other metal types, Thunderstrike. And if it predicts dark types, you just click Deep Freeze and do a lot of damage. So, yeah, Thalman, I don't think it's overpowered broken, but it's a Loomian that I want to watch. And honestly, those are all of the Loomians that I wanted to talk about in Ranked Season 3. Those are all the problematic Loomians, and while there are a lot more this season, I feel like a couple of simple nerfs in Season 3 could make this season better than Season 2. Like, Season 3 is basically Season 2 just with a couple added Loomians and a couple new moves, but if Jamie makes some of these nerfs in the middle of the season, instead of waiting for the end of Season 4, we could potentially have a ranked season that's potentially better than ranked Season 2. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about the season so far? Do y'all think that this ranked season's been good? Do y'all think that this ranked season's been bad? And what other Loomians do y'all think is problematic in this season? Please tell me in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!